Good afternoon, my good friend. If you are patient enough, at the end of this video, we will always do the Universal Astro Tarot to find out the energy that is with us in relationship to what I'm going to be talking about today. And that newsletter is very, very special. I wrote a lot of newsletters, thousands, but that one is something that will reveal a secret that you may relate to or may not, depend on your own UCI or unique celestial identity. The title is kind of interesting on its own. Nick Pope's throat cancer revelation. And of course, the upcoming SOS to the world deadly window set for March 6, 7, and 8. So be ready. It's going to be bumpy, my good friend. All right, the tragic mass shooting in Austin appears to have been motivated by the recent strikes in Iran and may foreshadow what I anticipate will occur during the upcoming SOS to the World Deadly Window. And again, I gave you the date 6, 7, and 8. Make notes. All right. There is no point for me, again, wasting my time going to the FBI private website and reaching the Secret Service, since my visions, which have been proven accurate so many times over the years, they are not taken seriously by those who are in power. So remember, I will always be there to refresh your memory once they come to pass. Now, I want to emphasize something important. You like Trump or you don't, it's your deal, it's your business. I'm digging with the stars, so leave your emotional response to politics or conspiracy outside. Okay? The stars do not lie to me. And this is what they said. He does not give a damn about the freedom of the Iranian people. All he's doing is distract from the Epstein file, which have pictures of him and children. That's why he's fighting so hard. That's why he's declaring war. That's why he's doing all these things out there. Now, if those file comes out, that's the end of his privileged life, the end of his vast business empire, which is built on lie and crime and prison time. Okay? I tell you, my friend, it ain't gonna end up for Trump very well or for his MAGA supporters in the government. But what concerns me the most is that Trump appears to be obviously self-serving, and he is the kind of person, and you must believe me, who will take everyone down with him. He already said it, including the United States of America, if it comes to that. And my warning seems to be increasingly realistic if you watch the news. In the news, sudden enough, a man was shot and killed by a state trooper after fatally stabbing a woman and a dog in a road rage incident near Washington, D.C. How terrible. I am certain that these horrific crimes occurred during one of the perpetrators' personal negative cosmic biorhythm. And it simply highlights the reality of the reptilius effect, which can hijack and will hijack the body, the mind, and the soul of unsuspecting, depressed, insane individual ending up committing this type of horrific act, or suicide for that matter. What I do is to expose the truth imparted by my 76 years of incredible, crazy life and accumulated cosmic wisdom, which can only vex those unable or unwilling to handle the truth. Sad enough, the entire UFO community is not cosmic conscious and made up of logical scientists, scholars, and rational government officials that include my friend Nick, who could never understand or even accept the purpose of various groups of extraterrestrials outside of their critical, investigative, earthy thinking. There is more to it. Now, Nick Karmic's UCI, or his unique celestial identity, makes him a natural-born investigator and a master of communication with gifts that are truly exceptional. No one should judge another person. However, it is important to accept the reality that 99.9% of people, and that might be also you, exist in a state of non-cosmic consciousness, leading to chaos, misunderstanding, conflicts, war, and ultimately death. In the name of thousands of deceptive denominations created by man's religious folly, this is the obvious burden humanity must bear for knowing nothing or even infringing upon God's cosmic design. There's karma for everything. Remember, if cosmic wisdom is good for the Illuminati, the Freemasons, or billionaires out there, it is good for you too. Remember, JP Morgan says, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Now, in my view, everything happens for reasons. I truly hope that my dear friend Nick can embrace and understand his medical journey, as it's all part of life's beautiful mystery. Nick's third house in Scorpio means being infatuated with any form of secrets, including his health. And the answer is so desperately needs. And that means, of course, also death, because Scorpio rules death. For me to keep elaborating on his personal case is imposed by an unseen psychical force that connects us mentally, something that will bring closure and understanding to a man I love and respect. And that is the goal. My only goal, nothing else. Help my friend Nick to understand a few things he won't otherwise. That's why I know he reads my newsletter, because he is like thousands of other people, including many UFO speakers and the people I've been on radio and television on coast to coast. He is on that big mailing list. I am sure he will appreciate the deep and accurate insight I have on different yet accurate diagnoses using Nostradamus' medical aspect of divine astrology. I feel like a burden to offer him some of the critical answers he seeks and could not find otherwise, as I said earlier, before exiting this world. All right, you know my philosophy. No doctor without knowledge of astrology should call himself a doctor. That's not my words. That's the words of the father of medicine. Nick has a remarkable ability to confront and reveal, even speak the truth, even about his own mortality. And I will address this critical question of why me on his behalf. Since there are no time or distance in the realm of space, a subtle communication occurs among all human beings. Be sure of that. This connection is especially strong among family members and close friends, which explains why everyone involved feel the emotional pain induced by the death of a loved one that emanates from the superconscious in time and space that connects us all. Now, let me tell you something that will prove my claim or make my claim that reality. When I was 19 years old, I was called upon the French government to do my orientation on the Navy Army. And I was laughing, I was smoking, I was young, I was stupid, I was happy. And all of a sudden, he hit me like a train. I felt sad. Could not hold the tears coming out of my eyes. What the hell is going on with me? I hid away in the bathroom and I was crying and I was asking myself, what's going on? Why? What's wrong with me? And then I heard my name on the speaker. Soldier Turi, report to the captain officer right away. I went there, and as I walk into the office, the commandant has the phone in his hand. He says, your old brother Joe wants to talk to you. I already knew. And Joe was saying, Louis, you must come home right away. We're going to get you home. Our younger brother, Vincent, 15 years old, got killed by a drunk driver. I knew it all, not because I'm a supremely sensitive being of Pisces, but because I have learned over the years the connection that we have with the superconscious in time and space. So click on that link later on, okay, and listen to the wise word of a man who's been there and done that. Nick is a Virgo. He's sharp and curious, and this sign rules the digestive tract, the intestines. He shared publicly that his esophageal cancer is a terminal diagnosis that was followed by an examination of his digestive issue he has been experiencing. In other words, he had problem with his guts, the intestines, and that's where they found out that he had throat cancer. I mentioned in my previous newsletter, had I encountered Nick either on or off the stage we used to share for years, I would have warned him about the nasty dragon tail moving into his Virgo sign. That's him. Never asked him. He's sharing my book, advertising my book. My good friend George Norrie. That was the good days. Now, not knowing much about universal mechanics like most UFO speakers, Nick did not invest in any of my previous forecasts for the year and did not know how the dragon by house and sign would curse or bless you. People still win the lottery in his life until it entered the sign of Virgo early 2025. I am still convinced that Nick, knowing me well, would have taken my warning very seriously and gotten checked years ago. The outcome would have been the same as mine, another lucky cancer survivor. But this newsletter is dedicated to explain further on the unseen astrological reasons I may or may not have discussed with him, because knowing humans are a machine of habits, changing those habits' direction or career is, if at all possible, not an easy task. The most significant reason for his development of throat cancer is part due to his very, very private Scorpio rising. Let me explain. His sign is well known for his natural investigative abilities. Okay, and that's why he's been investigating all his life. Meantime, his Cancer moon influence is emotional response to life, emphasizing family, inborn shyness, care for others, love of food or cooking, security, and above all, pay attention, staying and regenerating at home. Listen. He needed to survive, regenerate his spirit, and live a healthy, long life for your Cancer. Something is international statute, fame, and obligation, contracted obligation, I must add, with ancient alien and countless of trips all over the world and interviews far away from home took away. Listen carefully, it will make sense. Both Scorpio and Cancers are water sign, and they're extremely private, yet they form a positive regenerative sextiles in a chart. Sextile means a good aspect. But not being home for long periods of time, it undermines the regeneration principle, replacing it with endless stress, which affects also his immune system and makes him vulnerable to feed cancer cells. In Nick's busy life away from home that he deeply, deeply needed to regenerate, home and family members induced a subconscious wish to stop talking. And how do you stop talking? By aiming with your throat, vocal cord, or the phagus. Okay, do I start to make sense? In countless of my previous newsletters, I mentioned in one of a very unnatural tasking famous lifestyle, sucking life away to many famous people who already left us because of cancer or suicide. I'm sure you remember Chef Anthony Bourdain, like Nick, was born with the sun. I made a mistake here. Okay, Nick is a Virgo, and Anthony was a Cancer. And he was a Cancer, and his moon was in Capricorn. Both Cancer and Capricorn are homey sign. They regenerate at home. They are private. His constant travel as Nick around the world, far from home, ultimately led him to take his own life. Okay, so that was much more powerful because he had no way out. I'm working. Go back later. So many, sorry about that. People are just knocking my door. So many people are wondering why such an accomplished man with such a beautiful life would end his life. Now you get to know. His tragic decision was also influenced by the superconscious force in time and space, and being rich and famous but cosmic and conscious has serious consequences. Nick was born a Virgo. Virgo are workaholic people. Had he, over the years, made a deep wish, that's what he did, to spend more time at home, and his subconscious, which does not rationalize with him, finally brought the devastating throat cancer. Changes he needed to stop talking, traveling, and stay home instead. Now, before I continue, let me tell you something else. Okay. When I was a kid, my parents were constantly fighting. They were constantly arguing, and I did not want to hear them. But I started to develop some serious ear problem, infection. They took me to the doctor, to the hospital. They gave me thousands of units of penicillin trying to stop the ear infection. Nothing worked. Ultimately, I was going to become blind, crazy, and die because they couldn't stop the infection. And then I did something not knowing better. I left home and I went to grandma. You see, grandma never raises her voice. She never screams. And the next thing I know, gone, without nothing, just a few days later. Why? I was making a subconscious wish to not to listen to that screaming around me all the time. So my subconscious, not knowing better, started to make me deaf by killing my ears. If you read my book, Beyond the Secrets, you will get tons and tons of information on that topic. Or you can go again to my website, drturi.com, and watch my video on the superconscious. So, here is the explaining the subtle reason why the throat cancer became the throat, literally became the target and became the esophageal cancer. Indeed, our scientific community has so much to learn and accept to gather the golden keys to what it means human, okay, what it means to be human. But all this PhD, doctorate in education, and years spent in accredited college university, okay, brings education, but there's a big difference between education and intelligence. That's what it is. It's just what it is. All the scientists, mind doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists have to do is simply heed the wise word of Hippocrates, the father of medicine. See, right here, that's what the father of medicine says. Just read it for yourself, digest it, meditate, understand all I'm trying to say. And hopefully you can connect with me. Again, while my cosmic wisdom will certainly benefit my divine astrology student, the terms and the word I used to enhance your cosmic awareness should be easy to grasp. November 11, 1981, my God. My departed Joe was inside a stolen brand new Mercedes, and I was outside, only 30 feet above a flying saucers. This time went. Time went. God knows where we went. Little did I know that more incredible UFO experiences were ahead of me when I reached the US years later. For many years, I provided numerous proof of my UFO predictive legacy on various popular radio and television programs, and in my yearly publication, and through my endless chain of newsletters such as this one. Despite this, I did not receive any requests or offers to attend a popular UFO conference for a long time. And just because my astrological and UFO wisdom and warning differ from the accepted norms and are somehow frightening unique, it doesn't mean they are not valid. And it doesn't mean that other UFO speakers' research and work is a waste of time either. The reality and uniqueness of my UFO predictive legacy are often misunderstood or respected. They are rejected instead, which seems to scare away those who could or should help me warn about certain group of extraterrestrials' evil purpose. Now, very important. It is only when I'm invited to speak on those topics and that you listen carefully to my words that you will realize the critical values and purpose of my UFOs experience. And I invite you to come back right here in these newsletters often until I receive the link to my latest radio show. And you don't want to miss it because I do have some interesting information. It'll be right here. You will have to come back. And as always, I will check all my predictions and put them here. So you must always come back. Never read my newsletters only once. Now, to support my claim and prepare you for the future, I have provided the following quatrain and keywords below, especially for the newcomers of my cosmic work who need proof. In today's chaotic world of AI, the truth often gets lost amid deceptive creativity and fake news. This is why truth seekers like you urgently need a legitimate source of information like mine. And once, as usual, my vision unfolds again, I'll be there to refresh your memory. So, with this in mind, be part of the solution, my good friend. Share my warning. Give me the thumb up. Join this channel and gain good karma by helping me to save precious lives, especially if you know, or if you are a cop, or if you are involved in the law enforcement, period. There is the SOS deadly window. It's a plutonic window. You've got a date. I already enlightened ugly face of death drama horror surface. There are all the critical obvious keywords. Each one that will be enlightened in red is part of the news that will be collected under there. That could mean also earthquakes at or above 6.0, natural disasters, and so forth. Be cautious of what you say, be cautious of what you do. Avoid large gathering. Careful, the police will kill or will be killed, including us. Terrorism is definitely on the air. Government officials and children and teens are all targeted by the reptilians. So just be cautious. I already mentioned that criminals will get bolder and wilder, committing crime against women, dogs, pet, the police, the public never experienced before. And then again, you had it earlier. So be cautious. You will have to come back because it will be all here in time. So I hope, my dear friend Nick, you get a better understanding of the forces of the superconscious in time and spaces, how the stars do work, and of course, with it, the realization of what my UFO's experience led me to become Dr. Turi with an unarguable record of predictions, which you already know and probably will realize even more after the given date and when this window is over. All right, let's look at the Universal Tarot. I'm going to put a card. There you go. We're going to pull this card today. We've got a Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune means the moon is waxing, moon is waning. Always push forward after the new moon. This window will take place in a waning moon. Okay, that means a lot of trouble. The Wheel of Fortune means changes into your psyche, change of your perception, change in many ways, big change ahead. And some of those changes, which are irreplaceable, impossible to control, are meant to be blessings in disguise for many of us. So have faith. Watch the moon. God bless all of you. We shall see you in my next video. Please join. Give me the thumb up. Careful out there. This window will be very, very dramatic. Bye-bye.